Hello?
Maharaj, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's a good. Congratulations. I mean, I can't imagine that little kid যাকে আমরা স্কুল থেকে তুলতাম সামনে বসতাম আমি আর রাজ. You're the BCCI boss now. I'm so happy.
Thank you.
So my first question is, October 14th was a very rare day for Bengalis all over the world. Abhijit Banerjee won the Nobel Prize for Economics. Sourav Ganguly filed his papers to become BCCI president. A state that ranks not too highly in terms of business opportunities and overall image, these were occasions to rejoice. What do you think?
Hopefully, because, I hope people are happy with it, because I'm one of the two names which you just mentioned before. So it is very difficult to say for me whether it's a day to rejoice, but as I'm told, it has been happy, so I'm extremely fortunate from that point of view.
Yeah, because the general feeling is that, yes, Bengal have had Nobel laureates. We had Amartya Sen, we have Tagore, we had but nobody is as special as Ganguly. He may not win a Nobel Prize, but his presence, his charisma is no less than anybody else's.
I can't answer that question, Soumitra, personally myself, but I think I get a lot of affection and love from this part of the world, and I cherish every bit of it. As I said in my previous answer, that I consider myself fortunate to be loved and respected by people so much. And also what stands out for me is the trust Sourav Ganguly. And I think that is something which I will cherish for my entire life, because that doesn't come easily. The faith and the trust I get from people, it doesn't come easily. So as I said, that is something which I will cherish forever.
You mean your fans in Bengal or your fans across the world?
Bengal and also across the world. Across the world. It's not just Bengal, but it's across the world also. I think that is very, very special.
Because, why? Because given the state of affairs in the state right now, there are not too many high points to talk about. So when, somebody like you goes on to become the president of the cricket board, and then a Bengali person whose father was a teacher in Presidency College wins a Nobel Prize, there are indeed massive points in the history of the state.
Yes, but I wouldn't like to comment on this. As I said, I try my best to excel in whatever I do, when I was a player, when I was in charge of CEB, and now in charge of BCCI, the president of BCCI. So I try and excel personally, because that is in my hand. What happens around is not under my control, so
Correct.
I cannot comment on that. So, but as I said, once given this respect and opportunity, I will give everything I have to make this a very good tenure in my administrative career.
Yes. Okay. Now there is this thing that you invited Azharuddin and Lakshman for the felicitation ceremony on the weekend. I just wanted to point out something. In November 2018, Gautam Gambhir, who was the KKR captain at one stage, criticized you for inviting Azharuddin to ring the bell at Eden Gardens, the start of a T20 match between India and West Indies. Did you at any point or think about these others' controversial past before inviting him this time?
I would not like to comment on this, Soumitra, because the Cricket Association of Bengal invited him. And you must also understand that Azhar is the president of the Hyderabad Cricket Association.
Yes.
So I don't think we should create controversies with people. So past is past at times, and as I said, I really don't want to comment on this.
Yes, fine. And in fact, there is something very interesting that Azhar has links with mainstream politics. He was a Congress candidate. He was a former captain. He was your captain at one stage. He won his debut election in 2009 in Moradabad. In 2014, he lost in Rajasthan, and this year he was denied a ticket to contest from Secunderabad. I mean, there's a feeling. I mean, general feeling, since you have worldwide fans, that irrespective of whichever party Sourav Ganguly joins, he will be a winner, hands down winner.
I'm not even close to joining any party. So, the rest part of the question is actually immaterial.
Fair enough. So if you are not at all close, but there is a lot of talk about, you being backed by BJP, especially when you were not even, you yourself admitted that, you were not even afraid to become the BCCI president. The overnight the script changed, and apparently you met Amit Shah, then the two BJP leaders like Anurag Thakur, Himanta Biswas got involved. Is it wrong to say there's a strong political hand behind your election?
I think every BCCI election, if you see it in the past, in the last 40 years, has had people involved with politics in the election. And I can give you names after names who have been involved in BCCI politics. BCCI, I wouldn't say politics, in BCCI elections, whether it's Mr. Ganguly, whether it's Mr. Madhav Sindhya, whether it's Mr. Sharad Pawar, even before I was even considered in the Cricket Association of Bengal and I was playing. And I'm sure there were Rajiv Shuklaji. So there are so many people who are involved in BCCI elections who are a part of some political party or the other.
Yeah.
In Mumbai there was Vilas Rao Deshmukh. You go to other states, and I'm sure I can't recall everyone.
Yeah.
You go to other states, you will see similar names as well. So I think this question is absolutely irrelevant in terms of any elections, whether it's in state associations or whether it's in BCCI election. It is an absolutely relevant question. And for me, what stands out is this: I don't know which political party who they think me to be good enough to lead BCCI, which is more important. Political people have the power to decide on anyone. To be the BCCI president and the BCCI secretary, but it doesn't work that way all the time.
Yeah.
The candidate has to be good enough to run it.
Yes.
I think that's a major part of the decision. So I don't think this political question in state cricket bodies or the BCCI cricket body is something which is not just cropped up now. It is going on from the time BCCI was formed and BCCI was run. And to be honest, everything what a political person does in running board is not wrong. Because I've seen Madhav Sindhya run the board properly, Mr. Pawar ran the board, Mr. Ganguly was very seriously involved in running the board one way or the other. So, and there are other political names also which I can't remember at the moment. I don't think this question is right at this particular time.
Right.
I have had no, I would say use the right word, that no push from any political party to join. That question also arose when I became CAB president. Did you see me joining Trinamool? When I used to meet Buddhadev Bhattacharya, Buddha Babu, who's one of my dearest persons. And then people said, I'll join CPM. So I don't think this question is relevant.
No, it is certainly not relevant because, but these are questions on people's mind. You will naturally think that, when people read about it in the press, and then when Amit Shah says that we welcome Ganguly to BJP and there's an election in 2 years' time, these are very normal questions that people will ask.
Yeah, I understand. No, I understand, but I don't think there is any barter, and that did not even exist at all.
Yes.
When Anurag Thakur became president of BCCI, we supported him. When Shashank Manohar became president of BCCI after Mr. Dalmia died, he had the support of Mr. Anurag Thakur, Rajiv Shukla, Madhav Sindhya, Sharad Pawar, all those who have been involved in politics.
Yes.
And so I think this question at this stage is completely irrelevant.
But Maharaj, let me ask you this question. You're too young. You have miles, years ahead of you as a cricket administrator. But have you ever considered, joining politics, or have you absolutely ruled it out?
No, I have not considered at all. If I would have considered, I would have joined.
Yeah.
I would have joined by now. So I have not considered at all because I don't think everything is everybody's cup of tea.
Right. Okay. That actually answers two of my questions. So I will jump to another question because looking at Bengal, looking at sports celebrities. I'm not even trying to equate Baichung Bhutia with you. Baichung Bhutia, you and Baichung Bhutia almost had careers together. You played cricket, he played football. During your times, you saw two political regimes. You saw CPM, then you saw Trinamool, which is currently still on. You, as you said, that, if I had to join politics, I would have joined. But Baichung did it. He joined and he failed. And then
that's his personal decision.
Yes. So my question is, very recently, BJP also used the same strategy in the Haryana election, which happened just last week. They had two Olympians. One was Yogeshwar Dutt, who was a double Olympic medalist, and had Babita Fogart of that Dangal fame. Both of them lost in the elections. As you said, that everything is not everybody's cup of tea. But do you think this idea of putting celebrities in the forefront of politics is the right by political parties, whichever party that is?
Yeah, but you are naming two people who have lost. You're not naming so many who have won. Sourav Ganguly won from Delhi.
Yes.
Rajyavardhan Rathod won from I don't know where he stood.
Jaipur.
Jaipur, he won. Azhar won in his first effort as a BJP. As Congress. As Congress, Azhar won. Then there are so many other names in various other states who have stood for political parties and won. In Bengal, there are numerous amount of footballers who won. Baichung may have lost, but Prasun Banerjee has won for TMC from Howrah. So
Nusrat has won from TMC. Nusrat.
Yeah.
They've all been part of your shows.
Yeah, Dave has been winning year after year.
Yeah.
So I don't think that Mr. One gentleman called Mr. Tiwari for BJP, I don't know where he stands for. He is a film star, he is fun. Hema Malini is in year after year.
Kirti Azad also won.
Kirti Azad also won. So I don't think there is only two lost, but there is 50 others who have won.
Right. So in a way the strategy works at times, if you look at it from an overall picture.
Doesn't bother me. So it's somebody's personal decision.
Yes.
Everybody has got a decision to decide his own life, and that's how it should be. Sometimes we judge too many times what is right, what is wrong. I think at the end of the day, whether a person wants to be a cricketer, a person wants to be a film star, a person wants to be a politician, that it's personal decision. And why are we so allergic to politicians? Because we only elect them to run our country.
Yes.
And then why do we get so allergic to them after a while? I've never understood this balance, to be honest, At one stage we are voting them, by millions to look after the country, to run the country, to run the state, and then suddenly after a while we become allergic to them. So I've never understood the situation.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. In fact, Mara, just a small kind of thing, just to maybe my last question on this particular topic. Your team, for example, you're the president, no political affiliation. Jai Shah is Amit Shah's son. Arun Singh Dhumal, Anurag Thakur's brother. They all have some strong BJP links. I mean, is it just by design or just by coincidence?
But I think at some stage you have to separate individuals. Jai Shah's father is a politician. I don't think Jai is a politician. So at the end of the day, today Sachin Tendulkar's son plays cricket. We have to treat him as an individual cricketer. If he is good enough to play for India, he should play for India. He should not be treated as Sachin Tendulkar's son. Today, if Amitabh Bachchan or Shah Rukh Khan's son is a very good actor and successful, he should be treated individually. My daughter does fantastically well in her educational life. She should not be termed as Sourav Ganguly's daughter. She should be termed as Sana Ganguly, who is successful herself.
Right.
I think we have a huge problem in India. You see Mark Waugh play for Australia. You never hear all these issues. For England, the Curran brothers play. Sam Curran, Tom Curran, both play for England. The father played. The father played for England. Colin Cowdrey, Chris Cowdrey, they have gone on to play for England. We see this topic in India too much. Graham Pollock played, Peter Pollock played, Sean Pollock played, and Sean Pollock has been one of the greats of South African cricket. So you have to treat Sean Pollock as Sean Pollock, not Graham Pollock's son or Peter Pollock's nephew.
Right, absolutely.
I think we make this huge mistake in this part of the world, that we just take everyone in one group and just term them just because his father played cricket, his father was an actor, his father was a politician, his father is a singer. He should not be into singing, dancing, acting, politics or cricket. It's not right.
No, absolutely. I mean, I totally agree to what you said. But just I'm saying that in terms of experience, some total experience, the people around you, the secretary and the treasurer have very important roles to play with you. Do you think you're...
Yeah, we are a team. I think Jay is very, very young. He's just 31 years of age. And I think he's very passionate about cricket, like so many people are. You know, I have met Uday Thakure's son, the new young kid who just got elected. And I used to, and before being elected, he was nothing in politics. And I used to meet him at times in flights. He was obsessed with cricket.
কার কথা বলছো?
ওই যে ছেলেটা জিতলো, ঠাকুরে ফ্যামিলির youngest ছেলেটা।
আচ্ছা আদিত্য।
Aditya Thakre. He's obsessed with cricket.
He's a kid, absolute kid.
Yeah, he's obsessed with cricket. I met him on flights a couple of years ago. He would actually know everything what's happening with cricket in India. So this game is like this. So, you know, I don't think we should mix and we should...
Right, I agree. I totally completely. In fact, I mean, maybe you have a pedigree of leadership because you grew up in a family where your father, of course, you know, when he was the secretary, he was very, very flamboyant. I saw him growing up as a journalist. Of course, my dad, we had great relationship with you and your family. And then Kiroda, then everybody. In fact, you managed your own clubs, Borisha Sporting, then Shujan Das Bra, father, South Suburban, where I started playing a bit. Right now? So this it's a legacy thing. I think it came...
Absolutely. And every individual should be judged on individual's own talent and ability.
Absolutely. Achha, saying that, having said that, you know, we saw this very interesting picture when you went to file your nomination, that you were kind of hemmed by people like Srinivasan, Niranjan Shah, Rajiv Shukla. You know, given the fact that all these three gentlemen, according to the new rules, they are not eligible to work with BCCI. Do you see
they don't work with BCCI?
Sorry?
They don't work with BCCI.
No, but to see them around you, you know, hemming you around and then...
Yeah, but
what can you do?
How can you stop people from being friends and being close to cricket? They don't have any office bearer post. They don't run the board anymore. They don't run their trade associations anymore. There are other people running the trade associations. But how can you stop people from going to people and greeting them and congratulating them and taking pictures on them? How can you stop?
Right. Now, do you see any kind of interference in your...
No, there is no interference. Okay. There is no, and obviously we've just started. It's not even been a week we have taken over, so there is no interference at all.
Because if you see more, as you know, it's like a proxy setting. Tamil Nadu, Saurashtra, they have all their own people running the associations.
But then how can you stop that? That's what I'm saying. Today, if Sourav Ganguly's son wants to bat and play cricket and he's good enough to play for India, how can you stop that?
Okay, anyway, totally off the track. Sana koto boro holo?
Sana is 18 now.
What are you saying?
18 in 3 months. It's 4 days time.
আর ও কি পড়াশোনা করছে? ক্লাস 10 তো হয়ে গেছে হবে?
হ্যাঁ, she's appearing for an Oxford entrance exam.
ও আচ্ছা, তুই বাইরে পাঠিয়ে দেবে মেয়েকে?
Many chance পায়, it's a very difficult exam.
আমরা বলতে সবাই মেয়েদের বাইরেই পাঠিয়ে দিয়েছি, ওই আর কি। আর ডোনা কেমন আছে?
ডোনা ভালো আছে।
মাসিমা কেমন আছে?
মা তো আছে, বয়স হয়ে গেছে, she's 74, 75.
But she's healthy and strong?
Yeah, she's a little weak, but she's fine.
Let me come back to your questions. You've been quoted in the press saying that the BCCI's image has got hampered in the last 3 years due to endless litigations. Can you be more specific? What are the areas that got hampered?
No, cricket needs to be looked after well. You know, the way the administration runs, because you know the cricket will only be strong if it is administered properly. You see some of the countries who are struggling to become good teams, like South Africa has dropped, West Indies has dropped. It's also because of the power in the administration. A good, strong cricket unit needs a good backup, and that's what I said in my first press conference, that we are here to support Virat Kohli and help him, not stand in his way or the team's way to be a good cricket team in the world. And I think we must give credit to the way Indian cricket has been for the last 10 years with the IPL, with the finances, with the popularity of the game. And the BCCI has done a wonderful job along with some great players who have represented the country.
So where do you think the COA kind of faulted?
I think COA didn't have enough. It's like asking a film star to run cricket. Or it's like asking a judge to be an engineer. And every job has its own people. And I think what the problem has been is that they didn't have experience of running cricket.
But
that was the problem.
But they were appointed by the Supreme Court, and they said
Fair enough. So they were appointed by the Supreme Court not to run cricket. They were appointed by the Supreme Court to implement the Supreme Court order and move on. So obviously that took a little bit of time, and then they had to obviously run the administration, and now it's gone back to the state association.
But there was this new constitution that came into force, and do you think that was needed?
I can't comment on a Supreme Court order because it's the highest court of the court of the country, which everybody respects. So I don't think it's fair for me to comment on that.
Right. Okay. So let's say like this, that like states like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Haryana were not allowed to vote, although it did not come to voting in the elections this time. It was all unanimous. But the fact that they still remain very defined to certain clauses in the constitution, is that a hindrance?
And that's the reason they've not been allowed to vote, and hopefully in the future everything will be fine.
No, I'm saying, are you comfortable with the new constitution? Because you obviously have to be governed by them.
Yeah, as I said, I don't want to comment on a Supreme Court order.
Okay. Then let me put it like this: like 10 months of your stint, officially that is, if you go by this constitution that is, do you think that's enough for the kind of vision you have?
Yeah, I don't have an option. If I have 10 months, I have 10 months. So I do the best in those 10 months. That's all I can say.
But Maharaj, you also have the chance to review the constitution, because so many things in Lodha's proposals were not enforced stricto sensu. So you always have the thing to review. So would you by any chance?
It's too early to say. It's too early to comment on that. So.
Okay. And no, but would you if you given an opportunity?
I don't know. I can't answer that question. It's too early at this point.
Okay. Another thing, in a press conference, I think you said that you don't like the word control in BCCI.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, acha, totally misquoted.
No, I didn't say.
So you're fine with because see, I was wondering that if you say that there is no control, but two of your main good presidents that you've had, Mr. Dalmi, of course, and Mr. Srinivasan, they were all about control. I mean, they control not only Indian cricket but world cricket. They were all about control and the authority. They were sometimes autocratic in their ways, but I think sometimes you need to behave like that, don't you?
I think when you give power to someone, you must allow him to run it. So I think that's what I believe. Whether it's control, non-control, I don't know. So when you elect someone, you must allow him to work and run the organization. Whether it's board, whether it's the office, whether it's the country, we cannot. It's a democratic system of getting to a public position. So once you get into a public position democratically, then you should be allowed to run, and you cannot judge everyone all the time.
Yes, but run you must, but there should be a method in the madness.
Yeah, there is a method in the madness, because they're all also elected on the basis of voting. They cannot just do it on their own. So there is a method in the madness. Otherwise, Indian cricket could not have been so healthy as it has been for the last so many years.
Maharaj, there's one itchy clause which you have also kind of suffered, was the conflict of interest clause. I spoke to Sachin, I spoke to Sehwag, that they said that this conflict of interest clauses are very restrictive in nature and does not let the BCCI involve people of their stage. Is that correct?
Absolutely. The conflict of interest has to be very practical. It's a very impractical clause. You will not get anyone. You will not get anyone who will leave everything and be a part of the board. I have become, because I was fortunate enough to be good enough to be thought of as the president of the board. But if in any other position, people will not leave their jobs. The great players who have so many other opportunities will not leave and do this job.
Absolutely. I mean, more at this current position, like you're the president, it still allows you to do your reality shows and all.
Yeah, that has got nothing to do with cricket. So.
Yeah. But like, let's say, like, although it's a 10-month stint, like the IPL role that you played with Delhi, no,
I won't be able to do all that.
Okay, more another thing, there's this constant battle with ICC. The ICC does not even include BCCI now, and Anurag and all are saying that BCCI must get 70% share of the revenue. I mean, the fact that there's an ex-BCCI president as the ICC chairman, how do you think that? Do you think India is being denied?
I don't think the revenue is 70% of the ICC revenue. It's 22% of the ICC.
No, I'm saying the demand, the big three model that's in your
BCCI brings in 70% of the ICC revenue, but BCCI share is 22% of the ICC.
I think that's they want more.
No, of course BCCI has to be an important part of ICC. ICC cannot run cricket without BCCI. We have to understand that. And during our tenure, we will try to amend those bridges and get back BCCI in world cricket where they were.
Aren't you surprised that there's a former BCCI president sitting there and everything goes against the BCCI?
Yeah, it's a bit surprising, but hopefully we'll change it.
Yes, because I tried to speak to him yesterday and I said that BCCI wants a bigger piece of the cake. He says, no, I can't comment because BCCI is a unit like any other.
Okay.
So any other means you and Zimbabwe are the same. I mean, India and Zimbabwe are the same.
Yeah, that can't be though.
No, obviously not. But I have another point of view, Maharaj, in saying that, okay, you play the big brother's role, it's fine. But when you talk about globalization, don't you think the fair play or the equality model works better?
It never works in any corporate, Soumitra, that you bring in the majority of the money, you bring in majority of finance to world cricket, and then you only get equal share as others. The shareholdings in companies work like that. You own 60% share of a company, and your returns are same as somebody who owns 5% share in the company. How does that work?
Right. So you want a more corporate structure in cricket, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
More some cricketing questions. You wanted this day-night test match, but if you see the way other nations are playing test cricket, there's a great decay in the standards of test cricket. I mean, nobody wants to play this, and everybody wants to play the limited overs version. How can you help salvage this situation?
We have to fight to get test cricket back on track. It is heavily challenged by the shorter format because of time and people's attention to it, because people have busy personal lives, so they don't turn up day in, day out to watch test matches. In the past, test matches was the only form of cricket, so people had to watch it. But now the other forms of challenge test matches, whether it's T20 cricket or 50-over cricket. So we have to find a way to get it back. And I have always said that day-night test matches is the most important, is very, very important to get test cricket back on track, get the crowds back at the ground after work. And that's how it should be. India in the past did not agree to play test match cricket, day-night test match cricket, but the day I met Virat Kohli, in 2 minutes he agreed to play day-night test match cricket. So I really didn't understand what was the issue in the past, and I didn't have much knowledge about it. But Virat Kohli is agreeable to play day-night test matches, and in India you will see that. When India travel, they will play. When teams come to India, they will play, and that's the way forward. We'll give it a try and see if we can revive it. There's no harm in trying.
Maharaj, Virat also said that the test center should be kind of fixed, and so that there's enough number of people coming to watch it. Do you agree?
We'll give it a thought. I have not given a thought to it because logistically it has to make sense and see whether that's possible. So we're not dealing completely with the thought process, and we'll see where it goes.
In your 10-month stints, Maharaj, if you were to kind of prioritize your 3 big tasks, what would they be?
to get Indian cricket administration back on track. I'm a big believer in day-night exercise, and we'll see how it goes. What changes we can bring in, how we can take this thing forward. It's too early for me to say, but maybe in a month's time I'll be able to figure out.
Do you plan to revive the Cricket Advisory Committee?
Yeah, we have to. It's a part of the Supreme Court order. We have to revise the NCA, which is on the top of the agenda.
Yes.
Academy can see how we can.
Travel is there, Maharaj, and two things that have always come up in discussions is the workload management and injury management. And somebody tells me that the physios over there do nothing.
No, I don't think it's correct. But we will assess and see how it goes. I haven't been there. I'm going there next week, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay, Maharaj, and one last question. I mean, I was going through some Wikipedia profiles, so I was reading Mohammad Azharuddin's Wikipedia profile, and it says that he is a politician first and then a cricketer. How would Sourav Ganguly like to be remembered?
A cricketer? No doubt.
Cricketer.
Cricketer.
Excellent. Thank you for your time. I can see you in a more relaxed frame, wearing a Punjabi pore ase tumi ghore.